So
559.
the much more stable way of looking at value over time versus the dollar is actually to look at gold. So what these numbers are is what an ounce of gold is worth for these specific time periods. So $43.50 is how much an ounce of gold is worth in 1965, $559. You get the point. It goes up to $640. Today, an ounce of gold is worth $2,925.10. So,
Yeah.
well,
Why gold is so important to measure is because the money is just funny money.
yeah.
It doesn't money the American dollar has been devalued at such a high rate, and we're going to show you why that is. That we're trying to figure out what is a home actually worth based on a metric that we can understand isn't changing the way that we can just print money. And gold is a metric that he's using to establish what the value of homes actually is. So
So if
here's the
you,
interesting thing is that in 1965 you could buy a home for 464 ounces of gold. The lowest, so the best time to buy actually was 1980, and there was I think interest rates at that time were like 13%, and you could buy a home for 113 ounces. But if we look at the crash, it was 400 ounces of gold to buy a home in 2007, and it crashed all the way down to 239 ounces of gold to buy a home. So you would think the second best time to buy a home in the history, the first best time was 1980 at 113 ounces of gold for a house. And then the second best time was 2007, which was 239 ounces of gold to buy a house. And I guess it's 200 was our best case. Then at the peak of the market, when everyone said, oh, you shouldn't buy right now, it was still only 257 ounces of gold to buy a house. So the peak 2023, 2022 and the COVID craze, it was actually a better time to buy than 2007 by about double. But here's the interesting thing. Right now, Q1 of 2025 is the second best time in the history of these graphs, going back to 1950, to buy a home compared to the price of gold. It only costs 143 ounces of gold to buy a home, which is what, about half of what it was 2 years ago, and is far less than what it was even at the best time, even in the 2009 market, the 2010 market, the 2011 market, when everyone said, oh man, this is the market to make your millions. 2009 to 2012, that was the market everyone was buying because it was such a good deal. Well, it cost 200 ounces of gold to buy a home then.